Hi, this is James with Super Bright LEDs Test Lab. I'm going to show you how we installed above cabinet lighting in a residential kitchen. This video is part 2 of a 3-part series. In part 1, I installed under cabinet LED lighting. If you haven't seen that video, be sure to check it out. In part 3, I'll be installing toe kick lighting. So let's get started. The first step to installing our LED strip lights is planning the installation, which begins with knowing where the power sources are located. We've got two 120 volt outlets that we'll be using for our above cabinet lights, one behind the refrigerator and one above the microwave. The next step is to measure the cabinets to know how much strip light will be required for this installation. Once we've gotten the measurements, we can order the strip lights, power supplies, controllers, all of the connectors, and supplies needed for this installation at superbrightleds.com. For this installation, we will be installing the LED strip lights into our Cluse aluminum channels. Because the tops of the cabinets are not completely flat, these channels allow us to avoid having to go up and over the cabinet seams. The channels also include diffusers, which provide a more uniform line of light, similar to the Cobb strip lights we use in our under cabinet lighting video. Now before we start the installation, we're going to briefly hook up our strip lights to our power supply and plug it in just to verify everything works. When we've confirmed that it does, we'll remove the power and start the installation. Since we're installing these strip lights in Cluse channels, we're going to go ahead and cut these channels down to the lengths needed. You can use a hacksaw, bandsaw, or your preferred method of cutting the channels. For the channel that will go above the cabinets near the refrigerator, we'll simply cut the channel down to size. For our lights on the other side of the kitchen, we have a 90-degree turn to deal with. To make the 90-degree turn, we will miter two Cluse channels and fit them together to form a 90-degree angle. Next, we're going to lay the unplugged LED strip into the channel for cutting. We're not going to take the adhesive backing off just yet, and we're going to trim the LED strip by cutting down the center of the copper pads closest to the end of the channel. At this point, it's a good idea to test your LED strip lights once more by plugging them in and then unplugging them. Next, we're going to peel the 3M adhesive backing from the strip and adhere the LED strip light to the channel. For the channel that we made a 90-degree turn, we're going to do a 90-degree fold on the strip lights because the channel is too narrow to accept the 90-degree solderless connector. To do this fold, you first fold the strip at a 45-degree angle and then bend the strip back on itself to create a 90-degree angle. Once this is accomplished, we'll install the diffuser on top of the channel. We'll also take our channel end caps and drill a small hole in them to feed power wire through. Once that's done, it's time to lay the channel on top of the cabinets. Something you can do for a more permanent installation is drill holes in the channels to screw them into the cabinet seams. If you go that route, you'll want to do that prior to adhering the strip lights to the channels. With the channel in place, we'll then connect it to our controller and our power supply. Because we also just installed under cabinet lights, we're able to use the same power supply for both the under cabinet and above cabinet lights. One unique challenge for this installation was how to get power to the cabinet to the right of the sink. What we decided to do is run our flat power wire above the window to connect both strips. This power wire is only barely visible on one side, and we can even paint over it at a later time. With that said, that concludes part 2 of our 3-part kitchen lighting series. So far, we've got under cabinet lights installed as well as our above cabinet lights. And in our final part, we'll be installing toe kick lights. If this video is helpful, I hope you give it a like and follow. We'll see you in part 3.